Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Jay Wise and Nathan Drinkard. I'm your host, Cody Ward. Thanks for spending some of your time with us tonight. What's going on, guys?
Let's talk some sports, baby.
This is
A Drink of Wisdom.
Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Jay Wise and Nathan Drinkard. I'm your host, Cody Ward. Thanks for spending some of your time with us tonight. What's going on, guys?
What's up, man? Got a lot of good ones to get into today.
Let's talk some sports, baby.
Can't start my Wednesday without hearing that. In episode 52, the Lakers win. The Knicks lose even when they win. And we react to Wilder Fury 3 news. But first, let's start in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. Tuesday night, the Miami Heat took down the Milwaukee Bucks 105-89, thanks to some strong performances by Jay Crowder and Jimmy Butler on offense and a team effort on defense. Heat also outshot Giannis and company, hitting almost 50% of their threes. The win makes Miami the only team to defeat Milwaukee twice this season. The Bucks remain the only team in the playoffs, while Miami holds on to the fourth seed for now. So, Drink, does this loss have you concerned about the Bucks, or is this more of an aberration?
We're going to take it to the aberration. Let's be clear. The team only lost 9 games. What are we talking about here? They 52-9. Let's pump the brakes here. Okay, so Miami beat them twice. Did you hear your crispy lead into this? They are the only team to beat them twice. Let's think about that now. This is a team that they played the other top tiers of the Eastern Conference. This is a team that they played the top tiers of the Western Conference, and they only lost 9 games, and only one team up to this point can say we beat them twice. So, no. As far as the Bucks go, I'm not concerned about the Bucks. The Heat, maybe they could build some momentum off of this, so let's see how that goes. But I will tell you what I am concerned with, and it's not the Bucks as a whole, but I did see something that is a little concerning. One thing I have learned about Milwaukee is this. Giannis, for the most part this season, has been pretty much Superman for this team. Unstoppable. He's giving you the scoring. He's giving you the passing. He's giving you the defense. I mean, my man is trying to pull a 1984 Michael Jordan deal where you can just win all the awards in 1 year, you dig? And rightfully so. He's showing us that he has improved over the offseason. He has bettered his game, and he wants that trophy. He want to be holding up that trophy. He want to be the team that wins it all. Problem is, if you get a one-in-a-lifetime solar eclipse game from Giannis where he decides not to show up, you need your number 2 to show up. And sad to say, his number 2 did not show up. Chris Middleton did not show up. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, every time Giannis have a bad game, they find somebody else to blame. Oh, absolutely not. It is Giannis' fault. Giannis is the slut. Your star is going to have bad nights. No one is perfect. No one is going to have 82 spectacular, I can put the team on my back nights. LeBron don't do it. KD didn't do it when he was playing. James Harden don't do it. Any player you can come up with, I can tell you a night where they just did not look good through an 82-game season. So how do you counteract that? Your number 2 shows up. He puts up more points than he usually do. Or at least bring more to the game. But 12 points, 12 for 16, 2 for isn't this guy in the running for the 90-50-40? I mean, come on, Chris Middleton. Come on now. Jay been on me. He done told me to get off your back because you doing a rarity. You out here with the 90-50-40, and that's a very rare thing, and I left it alone. But this is unacceptable. You need to be available to pick up the slack when Giannis is having a bad night. He don't have many. It's like that guy. He comes in early most of the days. Sometimes, he overslept. So he needs to know that somebody can pick up the slack a little bit because he's running a little late. Spill a little cough on his shirt, whatever the case might be. And here go Chris Middleton. Hey, man, you coming in late? Me too. I ain't feeling it. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? I mean, yo, your leading scorer was Brook Lopez from the 5. Okay, so back to the admiration, right? Before I get too bent out of shape about this, what I like about this is what the Heat did show. So I can make sure I get them credit is they showed one. I like the balance of the scoring. That's first and foremost. If you look at the scoring for majority of them, they, Butler 18, Adebayo 14, Crowder 18, Dragic 15, Nunn 13, Olynyk 11, so on and so on. That's balance. It's unlike the Bucks where you got Bledsoe give you 7. Thanks a lot, Bledsoe. Thanks for showing up. And I know Jay, you know what? I ain't even gonna get in that because I want Jay to be able to express his point. But listen, this crap ain't gonna cut it. All right. This ain't gonna cut it as a supporting team that's trying to get over the hump. Let me mind you, this team is not the defending Eastern Conference champions. This team lost to the Toronto Raptors in the Eastern Conference. So Giannis needs to know you guys got his back. Don't show me the crap when you're front running. Show me something when I'm not playing my best. And they didn't have his back, right? And I want to say this about the Heat. Adebayo, for all intents and purposes, he didn't have a great all-star level game either. So for the fact that the rest of the team hopped in and gave him assistance shows you what type of team the Heat is. And I'm going to tell you right now, Eric Spoelstra, let me tell you, I thought you was out of here a long time ago. And you just keep showing me something every year. Every year, I'm just like, this dude is going to be out of here. He showed me something. You can't tell me there wasn't a little coaching touch when you look at that roster and then you look at the Bucks roster and you like, well, what's different here? It's a bunch of guys, man. I mean, you got Butler, you got Adebayo, and then Nunn, So Goran Dragic, former All-Star, I got it. But no, man, to answer your question, I'm not concerned about the Bucks, not whatsoever. If the Bucks decided to take off every other game for the rest of the season, I wouldn't be concerned one bit. Because they have shown they got the juice. They dripping with the young sauce. Giannis wants the MVP. He gonna get the MVP unless he keeps with this performance. But we know this is not gonna keep going. He's gonna get it together. So that he's probably gonna be the 2-time MVP. And it's just this is what I hope out of all this, that the Heat do heat up, pun the name. But that they heat up and they get on a little streak and get a little more confidence to make the Eastern Conference a little more competitive at the top. I would love that. But no, man, I'm not concerned about the Bucks after this.
Yeah, this is definitely more an aberration than a real cause for concern for Milwaukee. It's definitely huge for Miami. They get their second win against the Bucks, as we said. And Miami's been stuck in the mud a little bit recently. They get the trade deadline. They pick up Iguodala. They pick up Jay Crowder. And they seem to have tailed off recently, but this is definitely a step forward in the right direction. But there is a little bit that we should be concerned about. But, I mean, it's nothing new. We knew that the Heat did exactly what the Toronto Raptors did in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They packed the paint. They didn't allow Giannis to control the game. He couldn't really get out in transition much at all. And as a result, you got to rely on other guys to make shots. And last night, they absolutely did not. I mean, when you go minus 33 from the 3-point line, that's what happened. The Miami Heat shot the lights out, 18 for 37, just a click under 50%. And Milwaukee, a grand total of 7 for 34. Just absolutely a shooting abomination. And
they ain't gonna get it done.
And Giannis, you're absolutely right. Giannis, I mean, every great player is gonna have a night like this where the defense is just locked in and you can't get it going. Again, we've talked about this from time to time. The Heat, the Bucks rather, this is their first loss on the second night of a back-to-back all season. They're now 8-1, I believe. What a testament to how well they play and how consistent they've been. I mean, but this kind of thing was bound to happen. But look, when Superman don't show up, or when Batman don't show up, you need your Robin. And Chris Middleton showing up late, as you mentioned. And I guess when Middleton show up late, Eric Bledsoe don't even bother to show up at all. I mean,
He's still in the locker room.
I mean, five shot attempts in 21 minutes. I mean, Bledsoe, you're the third option. I mean, they paid you for a reason. They paid you and made you priority above Malcolm Brogdon. I thought that was a mistake, but I mean, it's been working out fine. But you're absolutely right. When Giannis comes up with one of them clunkers and the defense just doesn't allow him to do what he wants to do, other guys got to help out. And Chris Middleton, 4 for 16, obviously not good enough. Eric Bledsoe, you weren't good enough. I really hope Eric Bledsoe doesn't wind up costing the Bucks this year, because he's the X factor on this team. And there's just so many times where I'm just not like impressed with what he's doing. And he's definitely a guy that's got talent. He's a great defender. And when he's aggressive and got the right mindset, he's attacking the basket, he can be a real difference maker on this team. But the lack of shooting, I mean, sometimes, we've heard this all the time, make or miss league. Miami made shots last night. Milwaukee did not. That's the difference. But in a series, I mean, you could probably have Milwaukee have one of these games, and just one of these games they're going to have in a series. You can't count on like your team being this hot and the Bucks being that cold, because this team is built well around Giannis. Everybody can shoot the ball, even the big guys. And to your point about Brook Lopez, I think Kevin McHale made a good point on the broadcast last night. One of the things they should do when teams key in on Giannis to such a degree and he can't dominate the way he normally does, and you get stuck in a half-court game, let the big man get some post touches. I know it's a lost art. I know it's considered archaic, especially if you go out there to H-Town.
Outside of Zion.
Yeah,
you don't want to still got a post game.
Right. But, I mean, throw the ball down to the big man. He was effective last night. And, I mean, it's a better shot than a three-point shot for him, even though he can make those. But hey, shout out to Bam Adebayo. He was outstanding on the defensive end last night. I thought he really struggled as well offensively. If you noticed, I think he was 2 for 12 at one point before hitting 3 out of his last 4. He really struggled with the length the Bucks have on the inside. But, I mean, his guys around him made shots. Giannis' teammates different, or did not.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think what you saw last night is out of the teams in the East that I think really could give Milwaukee trouble, Miami clearly looks like the one that would be the most likely to do that. We talked about it before, but one of the ways you can kind of exploit Milwaukee's defense is through shooting. Milwaukee plays that kind of defense with the length and the inside, and they kind of collapse. They don't let you get in there, and you've got to shoot to keep up with them. And the problem that most teams run into is, well, we can try that, but then typically Milwaukee shoots as good or better than you do to begin with, and most teams just can't make up the difference. That's why Milwaukee is 52-9 or whatever they are right now. But Miami has enough shooting to do that. And on defense, they're well coached enough. They can slow you down a lot. Now they're one of the only team out of the 21 teams that have played Milwaukee more than once. They're the only ones that have beat them twice. They're 2-0 against them. Their third game is March 16th. So, for the Bucks, it really does start with Giannis. He's still your MVP front runner by a considerable length. You look at the metrics and whatnot. His standard, because the man still had 13 points, 15 rebounds. Not like he was out there with a goose egg. I mean, we got to keep it in perspective here. But again, it was well below what his standard is for this season. This team struggles more. They're 38-4 when he scores 25 plus in a game, and they're 38-3 when he shoots 50% or better. Last night he didn't do either of those. He had 13 points and he shot 33%, and he didn't make a 3. So when, like y'all mentioned, when Chris Middleton can't get anything going, there wasn't really anything else there to compensate. And like you said, Jay, I would look at Eric Bledsoe as a guy where it's like, hey, it's you now. Like, Giannis is having a bad night. Middleton, he had a flat tire on the way to the game. He's all mad about it. Like, we don't need this from you every night, but sometimes we need the good Eric Bledsoe. We need you to attack the rim. We need you to get in the paint. We need you to create opportunities from these other guys that are capable when they're set up. And instead, you get one of these I'm just going to run around, dribble, and just shoot threes and whatever. And it's just so frustrating. Like you said, Jay, when this guy's on, he can be a guy that makes the difference in a game like that. But you don't get it all the time. it's pretty aggravating to watch when you know the potential's there. But some of these other guys have got to float the ship when Giannis and Middleton aren't really there. But really, besides George Hill, who wound up getting hurt, leaving the game, you didn't get a lot out of that for most of your players. Then for Miami, you got to really feel good. I mean, if you're the Heat right now, because you got to think you're probably going to get Milwaukee in the second round. And we know the playoffs are a matchup game. And you've got to feel like, hey, we've got the chess pieces where we can really maybe make this work and go 6-7 games with this team, a team that most people wouldn't give us a snowball's chance against. In both games they've played, the Heat outshot Milwaukee in terms of percentage, both in the field and from three, and they also had significantly higher assists. It's that, team first, unselfish brand of basketball that looks for the open guy. They can hit the threes and they play the defense. I mean, that might be the formula for beating the Bucks going down the stretch, and Miami's going to have a good little stretch coming up here. Their next couple games before the next Milwaukee game, they got about 6 or 7 games against some pretty weak Eastern Conference opponents. They should be able to get back in this and start maybe even catching up with Toronto and Boston. We'll see if that works out. But if I'm a Heat fan, I got to feel pretty good after last night. But if I'm a Bucks fan, I'm not too worried. We'll see how the playoff matchups go.
Hold on, Cody. Hold on. I'm gonna get some in the headphones. Yeah. Hey, they just said James Harden threw a party and said, "I told you it wasn't that easy."
Oh, no.